aftermath of 9/11. We did some things that were wrong. We did a whole lot of things that were right.
We've taken control of the oil in the Middle East, the oil that we're talking about.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you...
Oh, crap. It stopped early. Anyway, I guess we just got to move forward. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this very special episode of Politically Homeless. I am your co-host, Snow Himbo. And this is Yeti Jesus. How's it going, homie?
Good. It's glad to be back. I've missed you, my handsome Snow Himbo.
I missed you too, man. But I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of each other very soon. Because first order of business is there's going to be a new show coming to INN, and it's going to focus around Canada stuff and how to protect yourself from the upcoming nuclear apocalypse / robot overtake / all the dystopian scenarios that are probably going to happen. Maybe all at once. Maybe we're going to have a super virus, and then AI is going to take over, and then we're going to have a nuclear apocalypse at the same time. And then, I don't know, maybe the Anunnaki will come back. They'll try to enslave us again because they got a new... Okay, that's a rabbit hole that we can't go down tonight. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining in. Oh,
World
Kitty.
domination, you say? Right.
Nice.
Time to go.
Yeah. I hope everyone's hanging in there. I gotta say, this is the most fucking hilarious American election cycle I've ever seen. Breaking news as of this moment is Joe Biden's likely to drop out, according to sources. And I just gotta say, please, for the love of God, no fucking Hillary Clinton. I don't want to cover Demon versus Demon Part 2. I don't think anybody does. Holy shit, that's scary.
Hillary's resurrection tour? No thanks.
Even worse, what if she wins? What if she wins? We're all just gonna die. I hope you guys are ready for that. We're all just gonna die.
Yeah. I've had a good life. I'm an extra 27 years bonus.
I mean, pretty much. Like, that's entirely too scary. Anyway.
I'm really hoping some other country has figured out the electromagnetic warfare to stop nuclear bombs from going. God, I hope someone figure that one out. Well, it's actually kind of funny because it's the UFO idea where they go around to like the nuclear sites and then they can't shoot nuclear codes. It's like it blocks the starting mechanisms.
I mean, that would be kind of ideal, but
yeah,
then they have to resort. Then they just have to resort to sending poor people to go die for their bourgeois wars. So, not sure about that either. But
if enough people resist it, then they don't have to go to war.
Well, workers of the world unite.
We'll work on our own countries, not kill other people. I know I'm a crazy hippie. I understand.
Oh, please, dude. When has working on your own country and not killing other people ever caused you to become a global super pet? Oh, that's happening right now? Okay.
Oh, China. Right. Oh, that's what happens. Is that why they have flying cars now?
The West is so cooked. We're so fucking cooked. We have never been more cooked.
Like, I know people don't think of it as like a third world country, but no, like that's where we're heading for that definition. That's where the Western world is going. Like, nobody's going to be able to afford, everyone's going to be living outside.
Yep. Meanwhile, if you go to China, like, you're going to be like, is this the future? Like, that's what happens when you spend absolutely no resources into your own country and spend all of it serving the ruling class, the rich and powerful, and doing endless fucking wars all across the world. That's what happens. Your country starts to crumble. Which
well, you can even look back at those old books that predicted the future, and like, oh, we'll be living like the Jetsons. Those were based on like scientific guesses, maybe not like theories, but they were based on scientific evidence of this, what the progression would be like. So at some point it was just like progress, whoa. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, it's because when you just don't invest in your own society, when you invest everything into the whims of a handful of psychopaths, for example,
that just want to fight other people.
Yeah,
not themselves.
When your quest is a dominance quest that you're not even good at because you lost a bunch of fucking farmers in Vietnam, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You
bunch
losers.
of farmers in Afghanistan too, essentially.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing.
Like, their military is not good.
The West is really good at throwing a shitload of money at the military. They're not good at winning any wars. And that's because people need to understand the point isn't to win the wars. The point is to keep the wars going for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because war, as we know, is a racket.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First order of business. Thanks to Big Mad Crab, our beloved host who is overseas in the motherland right now for this one. But this is just that I don't know if I have words for this other than it's fucking terrifying. But let's get to it.
Designed to treat criminals like patients. Instead of spending years in an actual prison cell, prisoners could finish their sentence here in just a few minutes. Cognify could someday create and implant artificial memories directly into the prisoner's brain. These complex, vivid, and lifelike memories are created in real time using AI-generated content. Designed to treat criminals like subject's crime and their sentence, the memories could be tailored to the rehabilitation needs of each subject. The artificial memories implanted by Cognify would be seamlessly incorporated into the existing neural networks of the brain, preventing cognitive dissonance and ensuring the subject experiences the memories as if they were real. The Cognify concept offers a new approach to criminal rehabilitation, transforming how society deals with offenders by focusing on rehabilitation rather than punishment. First, the prisoner is given a choice, either spending tens of years in a prison cell or seeking fast-track rehabilitation through artificial memory implantation. If the prisoner chooses to undergo fast-track rehabilitation, the Cognify device is used. Next, the prisoner undergoes high-resolution brain scanning to create a detailed map of their neural pathways. This brain map helps guide the Cognify device to target specific brain regions responsible for memory, reasoning, and logical thinking, such as the hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, amygdala, parietal lobe, and anterior cingulate cortex. Once the target brain regions are identified, Cognify is then placed around the head of the prisoner. The intensity and the type of artificial memories is then adjusted depending on the crime. Inside the criminal's mind, time would pass differently, slower than in real life, making them experience years' worth of artificial memories in just a few minutes. Synthetic memories are customized depending on the crime committed and the unique brain structure and psychological profile of the individual. Violent offenders could experience memories that are designed to trigger empathy and remorse, seeing their crime from the perspective of their victim, feeling their pain and suffering firsthand. Some memories are designed to trigger consequences and trauma. Such memories could simulate the long-term consequences of violent actions, such as the grief of the victim's family or the physical and emotional trauma endured by the victim. Artificial memories could cover a wide range of crimes, including domestic violence, hate crimes and discrimination, embezzlement, insider trading, theft and fraud. Cognify emotion regulation system could modulate neurotransmitters and hormones to induce specific emotional states such as remorse or regret, which is crucial for rehabilitation. Real-time monitoring and feedback mechanisms could track the prisoner's neural responses throughout the process, allowing the system to adapt and optimize the rehabilitation in real time with new visuals, sensation, and realistic AI-generated content. To ensure the long-term effect of the therapy session, the memories could become permanent, fully integrated into the subject's mind,
Yes,
as if they were part of their own
exactly.
personal experiences. While subjects are undergoing therapy session, valuable data are collected from all the prisoners into a central computer for scientific research, which will help understand the criminal mind and determine the best approach to tackle crimes in society. AI.
Okay, so that's what's down the pipe for humanity.
Yeah. Actually, what Tom said there about the Demolition Man, that's what I was thinking of the whole time we were watching that. It's like, oh, Demolition Man. It was a great movie, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewatch it. Start taking some notes.
Yeah, I just gotta say, this is terrifying. Because I want you guys to just think, what kind of power could this unlock for your governments who are at the behest, once again, of the billionaire class? I have like I don't know about you, I have like a million nightmare scenarios in my head already.
Oh, they're gonna use it as a form to torture people. That's exactly what
Oh.
they're gonna do. They're gonna implant memories that are torture on people. It'll lead to even more mass psychosis. It's another level of MK Ultra, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. This could literally just be used to just like directly brainwash people.
Oh yeah,
Like,
this is just full on control, and you're gonna have control of violent people. That will never be used nefariously by rich governmental people.
like, what if this just becomes something you have to do when you reach like military age or something? You just have to go through this weird shit, and they're already trying to normalize it.
Yeah,
Damn. And
like it's crazy how far ahead they generally are with propaganda, but they're almost throwing everything out there at once now. So it's like, what are they going to do and what's not are they going to do? So
yeah.
it's
And I mean, here's the thing. Like, I lament shit like this because this could be used for very good means. This could be used to treat mental disorders. This could be used to treat, people suffering from depression, anxiety, suffering from like BPD or bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. This could be used for so many benevolent purposes. And this is, I've said this for a while now. The reason why everybody's so scared of technology is because of our rulers, our owners, the people who fucking own the world. Because we just assume it's going to be used maliciously. It's going to be used against us.
yeah,
And the sad thing is, if we lived under a society that actually like cared for its people, technology wouldn't be scary. It would be celebrated. The rise of AI would mean, oh my God, thank goodness we're gonna, there's gonna be so many tasks and so much workload that'll be alleviated from the general public. But we're scared of AI because we're scared that AI is going to replace our jobs. We're scared of that because we know the capitalist response to that is just going to be laying off a fuckload of people so they can maximize their profits and minimize their labor costs.
Yep.
It's depressing. It's depressing how we've gotten to here. It truly is.
I have a belief that technology is good. You have to figure out how to use it the right way, though, because even with like say 3D printers like these, they're really fun technology. A lot of people use them to print, like, they'll print cosplay stuff, like lots of like little fun things, which is great. But you could produce so many things for your household, different kind of technology. I'm gonna work on some magnetic alternators that won't have any wear or tear. But there's so many things you could do with this stuff. But like the vast majority of us use them to make like little toys. Like,
Yep.
little boats.
Sad but true.
Right? Like, people need to start thinking of ways they can use technology to help themselves get away from the technocracy that we have now.
Pretty much. We're gonna have to play by their games. Like, we're gonna have to use the technology. Like, again, this is what we talk about when we talk about building dual power. You know, there's very many different avenues we can go down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the next section. So, in other news, we're at the point where China is just trolling America. They're just windmill dunking on the US of A in a way that's like, I'm not gonna lie, I think they almost feel bad for America at this point. I think there's legitimate empathy involved here, but there's some funny shit
for the
that's going
citizens
down.
they do.
Yeah, well, definitely the citizens. It's absolutely not like the ruling class. But this dropped this week, and this shit is just fucking fire. I don't know how many people watching are weeb adjacent or weeb curious, if you will, but I'm an unapologetic anime enjoyer myself, so I thought this was dope as fuck. But yeah, let's get into it without any further notice. Because yeah, this shit was, oh my god, this shit was hilarity.
Oh yeah.
This was too good. This was just too good.
我が心と行動に一点の曇りなし。すべてが正義だ。ドシャーンドシャーンドシャーン一体何のつもりなんだ遺体はこのバレンタインのことを好いてくれて我が
So yeah, that was China's literally released like an anime about the Trump assassination attempt. Like, I have no words. Like, the rest of the world must just think of, yeah, the West must just think of like the United States as just like, this is just entertainment at this point. I feel like for any rational country that isn't like completely like overtaken by psychopath billionaires. Like, I don't know how else
New
to say
version
it.
of soap operas as America turns.
Yeah, really. Like, and speaking of, this is too glorious. I'm sorry. This is like, this is just max, like, oh my god. Hold on. This is just maximum, like, hilarity to a level that, like, I knew this was coming, but I didn't know it would be this fucking funny. I'll put it that way. So, China is now making documentaries. They're making documentaries about America being a shithole. And if you don't believe me, check this shit out.
美国著名的暴乱城市奥克兰，在这里送你一套房子，你敢不敢住？我们在美国加州的奥克兰市继续探寻世界的真相。这是经常在媒体和电影里面看到的画面，到处都是垃圾，人们没有住的地方，随处都是流浪者。到底是不是真的？我们今天就去看一看。 开车往奥克兰的西面前进，
They're literally
在高速
covering
桥的
this.
附近有这样的
It's
地
like-
方，这个画风就和前面大家看到的很接近了，很多垃圾。前面可以看到高速桥啊，只要你有时间，在高速桥的两侧寻找，这样的地方其实不少。这种感觉很糟糕
They're，literally
像是
treating
被
America like
弃
it's
了
a。third world country. This is happening.
I mean, it looks like they are.
Well, yeah, like, Jesus.
这边有很多坏掉的 RV、房车啊、面包车，还有一些流浪人士。当然，这里很危险，晚上千万别来。
Oh no.
奥克兰经常被美国人评为最危险的城市，就连川普先生都说：“啊，原话是这样的，我们来学一下。There are places in America that among the most dangerous in the world. You go to places like
Treating it
Oakland
like
or Ferguson.
Australia.
The crime numbers are worse. Seriously?” 由此可见一斑啊。奥克兰的犯罪率在美国
Fuck. Oh my god.
That's amazing.
You know what? I swear to God, China is like a month away from doing commercials where like some like well-dressed Chinese man comes up and is like, "This is Billy. Billy can't afford to get a liver transplant. For only 15 yuan, you can get Billy a liver transplant and send him to college. Just sign up on this link below, and you can help sponsor an American kid and help him get the life he deserves." We're so close to them just doing like help these fucking people sort of commercials like we saw growing up for
American
like,
child.
yeah, they got an American kid. He's like crying. He's got like a bunch of diseases, and he can't, like, his parents can't afford to put him through healthcare. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Oh man.
China's literally doing documentaries about America being dog shit.
Mhm.
I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime. I never thought. But I will. I hate to give my father a shout out for anything, but my dad said like 20 years ago that I should start learning Mandarin Chinese. And I'm gonna be honest, like, what the fuck did he know? Did he predict this? Because
Oh,
like,
I'm up to about 7 words in Mandarin.
I do want to learn it. It sounds like a.
It's
my biggest
a really cool language.
like I know Norwegian. That's only because of my heritage. Surprise, guys! I'm Scandinavian. I know you probably never guessed
Whoa,
that in a
whoa,
million years.
Whoa, you're white?
Yeah, I'm very white. I know. The lights deceive you, but
I'm Slavic white. That's why I'm so brown.
fair. Well, that's I mean that Slavic culture is very interesting because essentially, like, the capital of Kievan Rus back in the day, they had the Rus people. Rus is a word that means men who row. So they had Vikings that basically came down from Sweden and they settled the land and kind of mixed with the like indigenous people there, created like this crazy mixed empire. So there's a lot of like, it's an interesting soup. But yeah, whenever you're like, why are Ukrainians so white and blonde hair and blue eyes? It's because they got Viking genes in them. That's kind of how our people roll. But yeah, so
everywhere.
I mean, at this point, like, is China going to just start sending like aid packages over to America?
China just starts dropping helicopter aid packages to them.
They start
Just,
like,
what is this, fresh fruit?
they
I've
drop
never seen
like
it.
they drop like a giant hospital with like 1 million parachutes on it, just drop it down in like the middle of a city, and they're like, here you go, here's your healthcare, go get it.
There's
You don't
already
have to
doctors
die.
in know,
Yeah,
we
like,
need more jobs.
and this is what I'll always say. This is what I'll always say is the reason why there's so much propaganda around China. It's because they're a country that is a great example of a country that invested in its people. Home ownership, as I've said before, in China is like 70%. Up here in Canada, owning a home is just like, fuck off, it's not happening.
I
That's
think there is
where we're
some
at.
areas of China that are getting like affected by housing market, but I think that's generally like the major centers, like
Yeah.
Beijing and maybe Guangzhou, I think is another one.
Well, I feel like the biggest factor there is probably just like direct overpopulation. Because,
Mhm.
there's a shitload of people over there. So it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, there's too many people. Like,
Well, even like I know that China gets a lot of crap for the one child policy, but the only reason they did that was because of how many starvation epidemics they kept having, like year after year.
mhm.
And so the last time they had one was before that happened. So, and I think there's a lot of like little rules in between and stuff. Like if you're in the farm area, it's not applicable. There's a bunch of different kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
just kind of read about stuff.
yeah, that's, I, I know a couple of people here who immigrated from China, and I know like conservatives like to push the talking points of like they went to escape like authoritarianism. The people I know who moved over here literally just moved because they're like, there's just too many people. I just I can't be around. There's just too many people.
Well, my neighbor's from Shanghai. Him and his wife both went to Shanghai University.
Yeah, that's at least what I've heard. They're like, and they both hope they both have openly stated like, I hope Canada becomes a little bit more like China in investing in
The people.
Canadians instead of I don't know, supporting a genocide, for example. I'm just
Yeah,
throwing
exactly.
stuff out there. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't support that. Maybe don't
It's like I think you
invest.
can have almost any political ideology, but it has to be consistent. The rules have to be the same for everyone, that kind of stuff. Because I think people can adjust to any kind of situation, but it's like especially in the West, where it's like none of the rules actually make any sense whatsoever. Like you need a lawyer to defend you to follow laws that you're supposed to know within a half second of doing
Mm-hmm.
something. Like
Yep.
that doesn't seem reasonable. But it's so like I think there's a lot of things that need. I think we just need to have open, real conversations. I'm like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and then everyone kind of has to stick to that.
Um. So two things about that. First off, the most toxic internal contradiction of capitalism, and I don't see a way around this. I don't see a way out, to be perfectly honest. Marx talked about this in far more intelligent and eloquent ways than I ever can. But you've got a group of people that you depend on for labor, but that same group of people you also depend on for purchasing your goods and services. So you're incentivized to pay them as little as possible, but you also depend on those people to purchase your goods and services.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
like it's a massive contradiction. It doesn't make fucking sense.
No,
Because
true, it's
like
true.
because you're fucked. Because if you pay them more, then you lose out on your profit, but they're going to be able to purchase more goods and services. Like,
Well, that's what Henry Ford did. That was what the whole reason he did the $10 or it was like $5 a day wage, whatever. He straight up said in the like in the conversations with the shareholders stuff, he's like, "We'll just have more people that could buy our cars now," and they did. It worked to a T, and it was good for the employees too. Like it was nice that they could buy cars and stuff. It's not a bad
Yeah.
idea that your employees could purchase things.
No, but unfortunately, this is the macabre reality we live under.
Yep.
Okay. So a big thing that happened this week. I don't know if you noticed it. I fucking certainly did. But the MAGA crowd, the free speech absolutists, the anti-cancel culture folks are well, they're having a normal one, I guess.
Sorry. They're now called the white napkin people, all right?
White napkin people. Fuck.
Ugh, Trump got shot. I'm going to wear this.
That was the weirdest. I don't like. Okay, I'm sorry. There's no greater indication that you're in a fucking cult. That like dear leader comes out and he's got something and you all just like blindly start doing like what? What is wrong with you?
Like,
Are you
I'm
guys
sure they're
okay?
going to say it was in a sign of support, but I was like, if I got shot in the ear and I'm wearing a bandage, I don't want everyone else wearing a bandage too.
They should have just worn dog.
Looks.
They should have just worn dog cones, I think. They should all just gotten dog cones and they could do dog cone support of Donald Trump. He should have worn a dog cone too. If I were Donald Trump, I would just wear like the most insane shit. I would like tie an eggplant to my head just to see if all my idiot supporters would tie an eggplant to their heads.
I digress. They do that to an extent.
No, they do.
Like, just look at how ridiculous they get. AOC, for example. I can't talk.
Well,
she'll say anything and do anything. Runs out on stage like she's the music star. Like, what the is going on?
It's we're just super down bad. But I digress. The reason I'm bringing this up is that the anti-cancel culture, free speech crowd engaged in a lot of cancel culture. And I'm not surprised by this because I've always maintained the position that there's no actual difference between liberals or conservatives. There never was. These are people who don't have actual convictions. They don't have principles. They are in a team, and all of the rules apply when it's for their team, and none of the rules apply when it's against their team. That's always been the liberal playbook. That's always been the conservative playbook.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado,
for example, Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Liberals didn't want to believe
exactly.
Yeah. Believe rape apologists. Thought that was bad, guys. Yep. No.
That's my favorite thing about that whole saga. It's believe all women until your believe all women is inconvenient to your dear leader, and then it's we're gonna drop believe all women, right? Absolutely no principles. None of these fucking people have. So, without further ado, let's get into what happened this week. So, just gonna go through this. So this lib's a TikTok account who I am 90% who I am 90% convinced is probably just a Fed. I think a lot of these big right-wing accounts probably are at least Fed adjacent, given. But so this elderly lady, this is the lady in question, by the way. I'll play the original video. This is the lady in question. So she's an elderly lady. And she made a comment on Facebook stating, you know, I wish the shooter didn't miss when it came to Trump. Now that's a shitty thing to say. I don't personally wish Trump would have gotten assassinated. I do wish that he is tried as the war criminal that he fucking is. Same with Joe Biden, same with Barack Obama, same with George W. Same with all of them. That's what I want to see
more than their deaths. I want to see them held accountable. I want to see them in jail.
Here's the thing: if Donald Trump's killed, he's not punished for the countless brown people who died during his administration. Same thing with Joe Biden. But at this point, you can't hold Joe Biden accountable because Joe Biden doesn't know what Joe Biden is. You can't punish a person who is. I mean, at this point, he's not even saying full sentences, people. He's like a week away from just like disappearing into the woods, and we'll never see him again.
Do you know? I want to know how much drugs they allegedly had to give him for that debacle on stage. Like he was probably jacked up. Yeah.
Dude, like,
because he had to have so much going in him to get through that thing, and he still couldn't. Not even a chance.
I mean, like, here's the thing. A lot of people don't get this, but like, this is, and I can speak with authority, being a psych human, but it's called sundowning. So people with dementia, what happens is, when it gets later in the evening, they start losing control of their faculties. That's why when you see Joe Biden early in the day, he's somewhat coherent. He seems like somewhat with it. And if you've had, we've all had grandparents, we've all had that. They're very sharp, at the beginning of the day. Then when it comes closer to later on, they start kind of, you got to bring up task manager. So basically what I'm trying to get at here is she made a comment that she wishes the shooter didn't miss. And so this dude, I don't think it was Libs of TikTok, but Libs of TikTok kind of popularized this video where someone came in and basically pulled a Karen and got mad because her fifis got fucking hurt. That she said a mean thing about Orange Man. And let me remind everybody, this is the party that cried and pissed their pants for years on end about cancel culture. They cried and pissed their pants for years on end, okay, about causing people to lose their jobs. They said that's not right. You shouldn't lose your job for making a decision. You shouldn't lose your job for your perspective on a thing. That's the party that said all this shit. And for the record, I've always opposed vaccine mandates. I proudly supported the trucker convoy because I'm actually for bodily autonomy across the board. I don't give a shit. If you had a different perspective, I'm sorry, but fuck you, you're wrong, and I'm right, and sucks to be you. But PhD. Hold on, just remember, I saw a connection loss, so I'm just making sure that we're still connected. Okay, cool.
Oh, you're back.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. So, as a result of this, Home Depot, and we're going to be getting into Home Depot a little further in a bit. Home Depot replied and said, we can confirm that she no longer works at the Home Depot. So, the party of anti-cancel culture and free speech got an elderly working class woman fired for saying mean things about Donald Trump. And I'm sorry, if that's not the most on-brand example of fucking MAGA conservative hypocrisy, I don't know what is.
Like, Buddy went out of his way to find her.
Yeah. No, he literally hunted her down. Like, he like, this is like doxing. It's that.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
And the hilarious thing.
Conservatives have always been like this.
Yep.
Think back to Colin Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm. And the hilarious thing about this is that Libs of TikTok, this account is now going around and doxing people for saying mean words about Trump. Saying mean words about the Donald, she's doxing people. Libs of TikTok made her whole fucking personality about getting doxxed herself. She made it a massive outrage about how she was doxxed and her identity was revealed to the public. Which, for the record, I don't agree with either. I think that was really fucking shitty. I don't condone that behavior. I don't condone getting people fired for their words. I don't condone people getting punished in any way, shape, or form for any kind of speech. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about free speech. Here's the thing. I'm going to drop a little bit of a bomb on people. If you say the following, I'm for free speech, but you're not for free speech. Because there's no but after that. Because the second you start adding conditions to free speech, you're not about free speech. This is one of the few issues in the world that is actually very black and white. You either support people sharing their opinions and expressing their thoughts without repercussions, or you don't. That's it. And the party of free speech, hilariously, is showing their whole asses here. Because they're essentially saying,
I was saying, we should be able to shut down bad ideas with conversation. That's what we should be able to do.
Yes,
like if someone
exactly.
decides to come up and tells me about how they think white supremacy is a good idea, I'm not going to slap them, but I'll make damn sure they know why they're wrong.
Yes, that's how you defeat. Because here's the thing, guys. If you punish people for their speech, if you silence people for their speech, they're still they won't be able to say anything, but they'll still think it, and that'll inform their behavior. But, and I say this as a proud Marxist who has radicalized many right to far right people just through the expression of my ideas, through the expression of how we do need to give the working class more agency, and how the capitalist billionaire class controls your life and makes your life directly miserable for no fucking reason. How we need to have more democracy in the workplace. Okay? I say this as someone who has actually convinced people with my ideas that they can have better ideas than the ones in their head. If you shut that shit down, then you prevent that from ever happening. Because that person is just going to keep believing what they believe. And if you don't have an opportunity to present your speech to their speech, then you're not going to change any minds. You're not going to change any hearts.
People should never let people tell them how to think or what they can think. Just because you think something that someone doesn't agree with doesn't mean you're wrong. Even people that believe in like the most outrageous conspiracy theories, like believe what you want. It's like at the end of the day, it's not. At the end of the day, it's going to be what we do as people working together that's going to matter.
Yeah. I mean, like, I heard this crazy conspiracy theory that the CIA violently coups most socialist countries. Can you believe that? Crazy.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. But yeah, my point is, like, you're not shutting speech down, because what this essentially is signaling, is it's signaling to the masses that there are consequences for you not having the right opinions. And I find it really suspect that this is right before Trump's, let's face it, probably going to win, unless they nominate Hillary and she literally drains his soul live on air in front of a horrified populace, which might happen. I mean,
will it be like Mortal Kombat style, where like Shea Tsung just grips his soul out, just pills it out?
I'm kind of hoping they both like achieve their final forms and they like throw down like Godzilla versus King Kong style. Like she like rips off the mask and she's actually Mephistopheles, and then he rips off the mask and he's secretly Baphomet. It's like a battle between devils and demons and shit. But I'm a huge nerd, so. But that would be base. That would be a lot more base than just us like being really depressed because the two choices are evil or orange evil. or evil.
Would you like Orangeade evil or white lady evil.
Would you like orange evil or Karen evil?
Yeah.
What flavor of evil would you like? Can I vote for not? Can I vote for no genocide? No, that's not on the ballot. I'm sorry.
Sorry, we went to court to have that taken off the ballot. Oh.
Yeah. You actually have to
then.
click the genocide box down there, or your vote is invalid.
Right in genocide. Yay.
But yeah, we'll move swiftly along here. I'm just going to give a couple other examples of this. Here's Tim Pool, and I know Tim Pool is cringe. Now, there's a lot of shit wrong with this post. Like, I don't know where to start. I don't care that Libs is getting people fired. I don't defend communists. You don't get to try to take my rights, then demand I defend yours. I'll defend the rights of those who believe in them. So this is another person that lives of TikTok, a elementary school teacher. She forced this lady to resign. So another person who lost her livelihood because they said mean things about Orange Man. Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
But then apparently also, I know this is becoming a meme at this point, but like, these are communists, I guess. Liberals.
Anything they
liberals
don't
are
like.
Communists.
Everything they don't like is just communism somehow.
It blows
all the
my
rich
mind.
people that got rich through capitalism. Oh, those damn wait, what? Like,
That's the funniest part, because it's like, okay, let's work this to its logical conclusion for a second. So the rich and powerful, like the people in charge, they want to do a communist revolution. Why would they want to do a communist revolution when the current system, capitalism, is working obviously very fucking well for them? Why would they want to change the system that they're benefiting from?
This system made me multi-billions. Let's try something else.
Let's do a communism where I'm gonna have nowhere near the amount of power that I used. Like,
yeah.
But again, this is the thing that blows my mind. It's that, like, we're in 2024. McCarthyism is still working on these fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was Tim Pool even alive for the McCarthy era? I don't think he was. But it's still working. But yeah, again, another example of the
never stopped, really.
No, it didn't. I've said this a million times before. The Cold War has been ongoing. It never stopped. It never ended. There's always been the Cold War, and the Cold War will continue until we end this failed project that is fucking capitalism. So again, another example of the anti-cancel culture right. Just being really firm in their principles. And I'll be the first one to say, like, obviously these people have no convictions. Oh, that's just the same video. And there's a bunch of these. It's getting... And BX here, BX on X. I don't know this account personally, but it's like, hey, look at you. You got an old lady fired from her job at the Home Depot. What an American hero.
Yeah.
Which is literally it. And here's the thing. Here's what people need to understand. Okay? This is what the ruling class wants. They want working class people fighting working class people because they don't want them coming for their power centers. That's what this fucking is. That's what this has always fucking been about. It's been about nothing other than pitting the people against one another so that they don't come for these fuckers' heads. That's why I think accounts like Libs of TikTok...
That's why the propaganda is so effective. It keeps us distracted from figuring out who's the actual enemy.
Yep. Those ants outnumber us 100-1, and if they ever figure out that, there goes our way of life. A bug's life, everybody. Which was which was a Marxist movie. I will say that it was a Marxist revolutionary. It was directed by Vladimir Lenin. I am pretty sure. No, but that's if you ever want to get someone who's like left curious, like kind of into the whole like theory camp, start with A Bug's Life. I'll say that, because that's a great movie of like, you know, you've got the grasshoppers that are obviously representing the bourgeoisie, and you have the ants who are representing the proletariat, and they literally do a revolution at the end. I don't know what the bird would be. The bird that eats Hopper. I don't know what he'd be. Maybe a
Karl
tank. The bird's Karl Marx. Perfect. Bird with a big ass beard and shit. All right, let's keep going. I got a bunch of these because I'm sorry. This has been the greatest week on earth watching these fuckers. And here's the crazy thing. We now have a split within the MAGA people, because this got a lot of pushback from people on the right. And I'm actually very thankful of it. A lot of people on the right aren't bad people. They have principles, they have convictions, they have empathy. They're just people who have a different idea of how life could be better. That's it.
Yep.
Same with people on the left. We're all the proletariat.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who are pushing back on this and like, what the fuck? You just got an old lady fired? Like, what? Yeah. And this is another one.
Like, for what, too? Like, what does that prove? That you're a bitch? Like, if you got to go after old ladies, you're a little bitch.
Oh, it's massive care and energy. But it's also like, you're betraying your convictions. You're literally... And I've been trying to argue with people this all week, saying like, listen, you're not going to like what's going to come at the end of this, because you are normalizing. Okay. You are normalizing cancel culture. You're saying the solution to cancel culture is you also doing cancel culture. So now the gloves are off. Nobody's taking the high road. Now cancel culture is okay. So you know what? The next time the fucking mandate comes down that you don't like, or the next time some kind of wrong thing that you want to speak out against happens, and you lose your job, or you lose your fucking home, or you're barred from a restaurant, or you're barred from going to the mall, you caused this. You helped cause that problem because you didn't remain principled when it meant the fucking most. And that's right now.
No, you're exactly right. And that's what it is. People, like, even, I remember liberals being like, oh, conservatives just insult people as they're calling them, like, conservative tards. It's like, you're doing the exact same thing.
Exactly. They're no different. And they're both hypocrites, because I'm seeing a lot of liberals on the other foot, shoe on the other foot here. I'm seeing a lot of liberals who cheered whenever someone who didn't get vaccinated got fired, for example, or someone died. Exactly. You know, and now they're upset about this. And it's like, you know what? No, you forfeit that right, sir. You forfeit that fucking right. You gave out that, you relinquished that right when you normalized people losing their livelihoods and losing their rights for not having the same opinions as you.
Oh, and it was a dangerous precedence. It was just, and you could see where it was going to go too, which is the most disappointing part of it all. It's like, does nobody else see this? Okay.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So again, like, there's a lot of people who are like, I feel like you become what you hate. Because again, like, that's what's happening. And it's not just libs of TikTok. There's tons of people on the right who are just full blown leaning into this and basically saying like, yeah, you know what? Like, because it's like my fucking orange hero that I love and worship and want to snuggle in your bed with, it's okay. And it's like, okay, well, you're just liberals now. You're just liberals. Nick from Revolutionary Blackout Network, he said it best. You guys are just shit libs who hate gay people. It's my favorite quote of his because it's fucking 100. That's all they're just more shit libs. That's what you have, America. And that's what you have up here, Canada. You just got different shades of neoliberalism. You don't have any revolutionary chains. You don't have any fascism either. You just got fucking neoliberalism. That's it. It's got this bullshit.
100% too, right? Like, it's a continued problem that people don't seem to realize. Although there's definitely more people starting to catch on.
Yes. And I will say that is definitely a good thing. This was kind of based, though. So this was Libs of TikTok, once again, fucking doxing someone. And not just doxing, but this person got fired too. Well, she was forced to resign. And then this account was like, good evening, Elon Musk. I'm writing to inquire about your opinion on the below correspondence. Please advise at your soonest convenience. Warm regards. Which, that's like classic corpo speak. I gotta fucking write that shit every day, and I hate it, and I want to fucking die because of it. But he said, any doxing, which includes revealing real names, will result in account suspension. Now, I'm not holding my breath, because Elon Musk is clearly like of the orange team, you know, as almost every billionaire will be. You know. So I'm not holding my breath that anything's going to happen here. Since the conservative snowflakes had an issue with my previous inquiry because the names were public information, this person was clearly posting under a pseudonym. Are you going to move the goalposts or just admit you love cancel culture? And that's it. They do love cancel culture. These two teams, liberal, conservative, they're no fucking different. They both just love the rules when they work out in their favor, and they reject the rules when they don't work out in their favor. That's it. That's because these people put tribalism and being in a team over everything else. They don't care about anything else. They just care about their team winning. That's it. That's all liberals have ever been. That's all conservatives have ever been.
And it's all because of like sports too. We're so ingrained to like argue over the stupidest things.
Yep. So this is going to be a curious thing to follow. I'm not holding my breath, but if he means this, he's going to have to enforce it. Because this, by the way, of course, she's a Zionist because of course she is. Totally full-throatedly supporting the genocide in Palestine, but you know, that tracks, right? Wait till Orange Man gets in office. He'll be Biden's high score. I promise. But like this account is just going fucking. Oh god, I can't even look at it too much. It's too cringe. This account is just going around doxing people and getting them. This account just going around doxing people and getting them fired. And this account and many other MAGA people did nothing but complain about when this was turned on them. And I've argued with a lot of them last week, and their justification is essentially, well, they did it to us, so now it's our turn. It's like,
you're not 3 years old. Like
that's what I said. I'm like, this is the logical processing of a toddler. The whole like, oh, they did it to me, so I get to do it to them. You're being a baby. You're a fucking adult. Like, I'm actually increasingly concerned over the level of arrested development that a lot of adults in America have. And the main cause of that is usually childhood trauma. That's what arrested development basically is a result of most of the time. It's because, emotionally at least, when you are severely traumatized as a child, you stop emotionally developing at that age of trauma because your brain enters another state. Suddenly you're surviving.
Okay.
You're not just growing and living. You're now in a survival state. So it is you can work on it. You need some therapy. You might need some dialectical behavioral therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy. Maybe both. But it's that's what occurs because of that. Because this is not how adults should be thinking. Shouldn't be thinking like someone did this to me, so I need to do it to them. That is baby brain shit. Mm-hmm. What you should be doing is not normalizing this behavior and continuing to call it out. So it keeps being a bad thing. But the second you engage in it, you're normalizing it so that it becomes it essentially becomes a thing that is across the board. Just this is okay now. We can just cancel people. It's all good. It doesn't matter. We can just cancel anybody we want. And that's where it's going to fucking end up. That's where this behavior is going to land. It's going to land at the point where it's just normalized. Okay, so I got another one. This is beyond hilarious because the MAGA people are so fucking hypocritical that they can't even like understand how like this rhetoric. So this is Just a Thought. If you don't follow Just a Thought, she is fucking based.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
She's very low miss rate. She's definitely up there with like Caitlin Johnstone, Whitney Webb. Those people. She usually has the right take. I'll put it that way. But this account, look at this. eGov is upset that liberals are getting fired from their jobs because of their vile actions. And then I said, this you? And I found a fucking tweet of his where he's literally complaining about someone getting fired for fucking wrong thing. And he's like, I hope she will sue the hell out of them. This is how brain broken these people are.
Yep.
This is how brain broken, not just conservatives, not just the MAGA people, but also fucking liberals. This is how brain broken they are.
Like, do these people not
this.
even realize the hypocrisy, or they just don't care?
They don't care. And the reason why they don't care is because their priorities are literally, if it's my team, it's fine. Because they want their team to win. I guarantee you that's it. They just don't care. They just don't care because they feel like their team's the right team. So any rules apply when it comes to fucking with the other team.
I remember another time in history where someone thought they were the right side and the right people. Interesting.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people died because of that. Oh, right. That's what happens every single time.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. And with that being said, we're going to go into our next segment. And that segment is going to be a new thing we'll be doing here on Politically Homeless, which is the Boycott of the Week. What is the Boycott of the Week, Snow Himbo? By the way, I love your beard. Thanks, guys. So, Boycott of the Week is a new thing I'd love to do where we start calling out some of the atrocious actions that companies are participating in. And the reason for that is, as someone who has worked in management, has seen these stakeholder meetings and shareholder meetings and all these fucking bullshit meetings with the office types, the business types, because that's what I have to do, sell my labor, provide for my family. I want to make something painfully clear. Companies laser focus on profit. They laser focus on any profit losses, and they spend a insane amount of resources trying to figure out why they're not getting profit, why the profit went down. why sales went down, all this shit. They obsess over this. They have whole departments focused on figuring this out. So, if we can do a boycott, we can start shining the light on a lot of these people, a lot of these companies that are engaging in some bullshit behavior. A lot of these companies that are engaging in actions that we would find undesirable. And don't worry, I'm going to provide alternatives. I'm not just going to say you can't buy at the store if it's the store that you feel like is the only store you can buy shit at. I'm going to give you some alternatives. But the point to this is, we're punching up here. We're not getting the lady at Home Depot fired. We're coming for the fucking CEO. We're coming for the owners of capital. And the reason for that is if they start looking at their profits tanking, then once they figure out why that could be, they might stop supporting some of the more egregious things that they support. So, without further ado, we're going to get into Boycott of the Week. Okay, so we're going to start off first and foremost. Oh, I forgot to like one of Missy's tweets. Resolve that. We're going to start with obviously the example I just showed. Super into cancel culture. They cave to a bunch of idiot MAGA people. Bunch of idiot MAGA people crying about mean words about Orange Man. And they actually fired her. So right off the bat, problem I have with that is that you should be standing by your workers. Okay? If I owned a company, I'd say, look, I get it. And this would work on the MAGA people. That's what I don't get. I don't know why they didn't take this direction. But I would go, look, what she said, we don't agree with as a company. But we respect her freedom to say it. We support free speech here. MAGA wouldn't be able to say shit because they've been pretending to be the free speech party for so long. They'd all have to be like, well, I guess I have to be okay with it. That's what they'd have to do.
They just think of some excuse not to.
No, you're actually correct. They would just bring up some more bullshit as to why, like,
the square root of Trump is 36. So we don't have to do that.
Pretty much. That's literally what they would probably do. They pull some shit out of their ass and they just like have an excuse to.
And conservatives are the biggest cancel culture ever. They burned NFL crap because of Kaepernick. They burned Bud Light crap because it was because of that weirdo thing.
That like they did it because of that like weird grifter person who like I don't know all the details, but he was like just a normal gay guy and then he was trans and then like I don't know. Full disclosure, I focus on the material conditions of the working class and the developments of empire. I do not focus on the culture war stuff because I feel like regardless if you're black, white, trans, gay, whatever, you're going to benefit from that probably more than any endless culture war bickering is going to serve you. I've always had that. Not saying I'll be the first one to defend your rights, but I don't think this culture war shit is a focus. I think it's a focus because it is manufactured to be a focus because they don't want people talking about economic material condition sort of shit.
Yeah, one of the things of like propaganda is you keep the debates lively but in very small parameters.
Mhm.
So people think they're having the illusion of choice, but they're not. They're just recirculating in the system.
Of course. And that's part of the game. They don't want the topic turning to things that could actually threaten power. And spending all day arguing about like pronouns and bathrooms, one way or the other, that's not going to threaten power. But spending all day arguing over, I don't know, why the wages for the average working class person isn't keeping in line with the cost of living. They don't want people arguing over that. They want people arguing over shit that affects a very small amount of people, who also pay rent and are dealing with the rising cost of living, by the way. So it's not like a one or the other sort of thing. I'm still advocating for those fucks, but I digress. So I'm going to expose Home Depot a little further. So Home Depot's been up to some shit, and I don't think people realize what kind of shit Home Depot's been up to. But we're going to get into it. Looks like I'll be spending my gardening money elsewhere from now on. Home Depot is a corporate sponsor and backer of the Cop City Urban Warfare Training Facility in Atlanta. As political violence sadly is once again in the national spotlight, it's worth highlighting Home Depot is a key corporate supporter and backer of what is commonly referred to as Cop City in Atlanta. Not even 3 years ago, then CEO Craig Minier issued a statement in the wake of the murders of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, lamenting the harsh patterns of racism and discrimination in our country. At that time, Minier also announced a donation of $1 million to the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law in the name of actionable change and building a more inclusive society. It is troubling to learn that despite those statements, Home Depot sits on the board of trustees of the Atlanta Police Foundation, which is pushing through the massive police facility commonly referred to as Cop City. In the face of clear and widespread community opposition, and despite the site already fulfilling a vital ecological function as the lungs of Atlanta, the Cop City project was announced in 2021 by then Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. The measure was then passed by Atlanta City Council. Lance Bottoms is married to current Home Depot Chief Diversity Officer Derek Bottoms. It's unclear what portion of the project's $90 million budget is being provided by Home Depot, but even $1 is too much. Oh, she wants me?
Yeah.
Maybe. Sorry, one sec.
She's cracking at the door.
Hey, sweetie. Hey, sweetie.
Kitty time.
Say hi. You're on camera.
Oh, she's like, oh.
Okay, well, I don't know why you wanted to come in here. I don't know why you wanted to come in here then.
Girl. Okay, all right.
Kitties are weird. Anyway, in the name of actionable change and building a more inclusive society, we call on Home Depot to pull their support, both financial and otherwise, from the Atlanta Cop City project. So, that's example one. These fuckers support Cop City. They support the building of a police state, if you will. And I'm not even done there. Because, Yeti, what do you think is the worst thing of all the things in the world? What do you think is the worst thing a company could support?
Genocide.
Funny you would say genocide, Yeti. It's real funny you would say genocide. It's real funny you would say that. Home Depot has been heavily in bed with apartheid Israel since the late 1970s and was one of the first companies added to the BDS list when that movement started. How is Home Depot encouraging Israel's colonial expansion? Home Depot continues to encourage Israeli colonial expansion by selling a large array of products from the Israeli company Keter Plastic and its subsidiaries, e.g. Keter Black and Decker, London Plast, Bath Mats, and Workforce. Keter Plastic owns and operates 2 plants in illegal Israeli colonies established within the occupied West Bank, one in the Barkin Industrial Zone and the other in Oranit. The Barkin Industrial Zone is the second largest industrial zone in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, and is home to a myriad of businesses and factories, many of which have been under international political pressure to relocate due to the illegality of the Barkin colony. The Iranic colony, along with 3 other Israeli colonies in the West Bank, was approved for expansion by former Israeli Defense Minister Amir Peretz in 2006. Home Depot was recently awarded Keter Plastic a $150 million contract which will last for at least 3 years. The establishment of colonies and colonial infrastructure on occupied territories is illegal according to Article 49 of the 4th Geneva Convention and is considered a war crime according to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. Furthermore, the continuing establishment of Jewish-only colonies on Palestinian land significantly hinders the achievement of a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace deal in the Middle East as asserted in UN Security Council Resolution 446 as of March 22, 1979. I'm sorry, guys, if I get heated, but as you know, whenever Palestine comes up, just the rage. I'm at the point where I have nothing left but rage. That's it.
Yep.
That's all these motherfuckers get from me now. There's no more sadness. There's no more crying. There's just anger.
Yep.
So that's fucking Home Depot. They support Cop City, and they're totally cool with genocide. So, fuck Home Depot. And also, fuck Israel. I'll never miss an opportunity to say that. But that's Home Depot, and that's our boycott of the week. But I'm not going to leave you without an alternative to Home Depot, because you might get some shit at Home Depot. So, this is a neat trick I did when I started boycotting companies. I'm going to show y'all how to do it right here. Okay? Now, I will add a disclaimer that you should probably look up the companies that you are choosing as an alternative. However, I digress. It's this simple. Home Depot competitors, you can just Google. You gotta look these fuckers up, by the way. Because they might be also genocide enjoyers or Cop City enjoyers.
Walmart definitely is.
Of course. Walmart's so big that it just supports anything that the larger bourgeois apparatus supports.
That's Steers, you're not wrong.
Right off the bat, Walmart and Amazon, I feel like those boycotts of the week could be a whole fucking episode. To be perfectly honest. But yeah, you just Google alternatives, and you might find an alternative. You might be lucky enough to find a nice mom and pop small business. But yeah, it's really that simple. But again, I will emphasize, these people obsessively look at their profits, and they obsess over the reasons why their profits might be falling. So, I know we all feel kind of helpless right now. I know, I get it. I feel it too. I feel it in my heart. Every single time I open up social media and I see another tragedy in Gaza and end up crying over it, that helplessness boils up, right? But there's things you can fucking do. There's things you can do to send a message, even if you feel powerless. You can vote with your wallet. Even if it's a little bit, you can make these people's days a little shittier. Because the less support you give to these corporations that are in bed with the things you find fundamentally abhorrent about society, you can change that. Because the thing is, these companies are slaves to their profit. They are slaves. They will do anything to correct a shitty quarter. They'll do anything to correct a shitty quarter. So if it means not supporting Cop City, if they come to the conclusion that their profits just tank because they support Cop City, they won't support Cop City because that results in a better quarter. The only thing these fuckers think about is how can we make profits even better than the previous quarter, right? So keep that in mind.
Well, capitalism depends on that.
Of course. Of fucking course. No question. No argument. That's all they care about. They care about their profits. So, without further ado, with that being said, as a great man once stated, we're going to move on swiftly to the main course, if you will, because I'm seeing a disturbing trend across the political spectrum, and depressingly, a lot in independent media spaces specifically. There's this narrative that's being cooked up, especially in the light of Donald Trump's assassination attempt, his largely empty rhetoric over fighting the deep state, which, if you think he's fighting the deep state, I don't know how to help you. You're believing something that goes against all of the behavior of 4 years of his presidency, but I digress. There is this narrative floating around that I need to squash. I got to squash it. You know why I have to squash it? Because I'm a fucking bubble burster. And I hate being a bubble burster because it caused a lot of people to get mad at you and then begrudgingly admit you were right and apologize like a while after. But you got to deal with the weird cognitive, you got to basically always manage people's cognitive dissonance. And thankfully, I'm someone with enough emotional intelligence to kind of do that. But I'm also really mad and think everybody's stupid. So I got to fight that too, I guess. But I digress. There's this narrative that Donald Trump is anti-establishment. And we saw this a lot. I got a lot of independent news people talking about how the deep state wants to take him out. The deep state wants him gone because he's anti-establishment. I'm going to be the first one to fucking say Donald Trump is not anti-establishment. He is the fucking establishment. He always has been the establishment. This guy went golfing with the Clintons, guys. Why would the deep state take him out? Garrett Bolton. He got Bolton on his fucking team. And he's anti-establishment? Why would the deep state take him out? What power did he ever fucking threaten? What are your thoughts, Yeti? Because I'm sure you've seen this as well. All these people saying,
oh, yeah,
he's a big threat to the establishment.
Well, he's not a threat to the establishment. I don't think they're the biggest fan of him sometimes. But, that's the thing with the shooting him. What would even be the benefit of killing Trump? All it would have done was set off a civil war. Unless that's what they wanted to do then. But in my thinking,
okay, so tax cuts to billionaires and corporations. Big establishment threat. Operation Warp Speed. Hey, MAGA, did you guys all forget that this whole vaccine thing that you're enraged about started with Donald Trump? He's still proud of it. He's still telling you and everybody you know to buy into that completely. He's proud of it. Now, from a psych analysis, I can tell you why that is. Because Donald Trump is first and foremost a narcissist. No, he's not a psychopath. He doesn't have antisocial person. He's just a plain narcissist. So because Operation Warp Speed, the vaccine thing, is something he did, he has to stand by it. Because he has to paint it as white, because he has to paint himself as white in order to preserve his grandiosity.
Mm-hmm.
What are his honest thoughts about the vaccine? I couldn't tell you. I don't live in his head. I think Donald Trump will say whatever Donald Trump can say to get applause.
Yep.
That's it. I don't think he has principles. I don't even think he has a party. Donald Trump used to be a Republican.
Any principle.
Or sorry, Donald Trump used to be a Democrat. Switch to Republican. He changed his mind about everything. It's just he'll do whatever he can to get the applause. That's it.
Yep.
Oh,
he's a snake oil salesman. That's all he is.
Yeah. He's a con man. That's it. He's just a fucking con man. But a lot of people are peddling this narrative, even independent people who should have more critical thinking because they have critical thinking on everything else, are running with this weird sort of thing that like Donald Trump's some sort of threat to power. Guys.
No.
There's no threat to power here. He
the
is
only
literally...
reason they would have The only reason I could see them trying to take him out was to cause a civil war. That's all I can see any reason for them wanting to.
Yeah. Also, as per the assassination attempt, guys, if the deep state wanted to take Donald Trump out, he'd be fucking dead. And you know why we all know that? We all witnessed this happen in front of the whole world before. The last time a president threatened power.
Mm-hmm.
It's called JFK. They didn't miss. They made sure they didn't miss. They took multiple shots and both of them hit pretty accurately. So
I mean, that depends how many shooters there were.
What are you talking about? It was just Lee Harvey Oswald, wasn't it? That's what the TV man told me.
He definitely wasn't framed for being a communist supporter in the USSR. That definitely didn't happen.
That's what I fucking love. It's just they couldn't help themselves. They're like, we have to insert some anti-communism somewhere here. We got to. They always have to. They got to sprinkle some like Red Scare propaganda, even when it doesn't even make sense. Even when it's not even topical. It's like let's just sprinkle some like communists.
He was actually. He apparently was. Apparently, one of the things the reasons they think he was framed was because he was gonna defect to the USSR. But like that's not a whole lot of info I have on that one.
Oh, that's weird, because like why would someone in America, such a thriving nation, defect to a place like the USSR, which I've always been told was like a very bad place that was awful in every way.
There definitely wasn't a great black migration in the 80s.
No.
It definitely didn't happen. Nope.
Guys, it's almost like we've been lied to about absolutely fucking everything when it comes to other countries. But I digress.
No, China's lying, and Russia, Iran. Wait, what other ones are lying this week?
Cuba
probably lies.
Cuba is simultaneous. My favorite thing about
those bastards.
Yeah. My favorite thing about China is they're doing the classic fascist trope of like China is a massive threat, but also like awful and just like weak. The whole like the enemy is both weak and strong thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're failing. Too. Yeah, same thing with Russia. It's like, they're failing. They're so bad. They're such a big threat. And it's like, you guys realize you got to pick one.
Yeah.
They can't.
Russia had to resort to wash machines, but also they're going to invade us. What? No.
Yeah. Russia's so bad that they're totally getting their ass kicked in the Ukraine conflict, but we gotta support Ukraine or they're going to take over all of Europe. Well, if they're getting their ass kicked fighting Ukraine,
how are they going to take over?
How are they going to take over Europe? Also, here's the thing that boggles my mind. What would Russia ever want more fucking land for?
Yeah, I know.
They're not hurting for land.
They have the biggest land mass in the world.
Literally.
China, maybe?
No. Russia's it's massive. They will never go without land. Their population density is very low. They don't need more fucking land. They're good. They're all set.
Yeah.
They might want to give some to China, actually. Maybe kind of balance out the population.
Like, does anyone else want some land? We got free land here, guys.
Thankfully, they're in an alliance now. All against the West. So we're fucked, but they're probably going to do pretty good.
Yeah.
I digress. Let's get into whether or not Trump is anti-establishment, because I need to squash this, because I get it when, like, you know, BSDNC covers this. I get it when Fox News covers this. I get it when, like, the main corporate media people start talking about this, but I'm seeing this narrative in independent spaces where Trump's like some kind of anti-establishment, like against the deep state sort of guy. And I need to burst this bubble. I need to burst this fucking bubble. Because some of these people, I don't know if they're grifting. I don't know if they're just misinformed. Trump is not a threat to power. He never was. No. He never will be. He will never be a threat to power. And I will present this case as thoroughly as I can. Because by the end of this demonstration, you cannot tell me that this bitch is a threat to power. It's not going to happen. It's not going to fucking happen. Okay.
I'll be right back in 2 seconds.
Of course.
But I'm listening.
This is from Ben Norton. As president, Trump was a loyal ally of the U.S. deep state. He killed Iran's General Soleimani, launched coup and failed invasion of Venezuela, oversaw Bolivia coup, backed Nicaragua coup attempt, boasted of stealing Syria's oil, which some MAGA people are saying, like, oh, that's why the deep state doesn't like him, because he says things they don't like. He still fucking did it, you idiots. Continued Afghanistan war, correct. Expanded war in Yemen, also correct. That was in response to his video about either the deep state destroys America or we destroy the deep state. Also, I need to remind y'all that he could have destroyed the deep state in the 4 years he was president. Didn't do it. He continues. Imagine being so delusional you actually thought Donald Trump would fight the deep state when, as president, he brought back George Bush's team of unrepentant neocon war criminals, John Bolton and Elliot Abrams. This is just empty rhetoric that his credulous fans eat up. Trump sure was resisting the deep state when he, checks notes, formally recognized occupied Jerusalem as the so-called capital of apartheid Israel, or when he formally recognized Syria's illegally occupied Golan Heights as Israeli colonial territory. The thing the U.S. deep state wants more than anything else in the world is war on China, exactly what Donald Trump delivered. Trump drastically escalated the new Cold War on China, starting a trade war, imposing sanctions, militarizing the Pacific, etc. Here's irrefutable video evidence of Trump fighting the deep state. So that's your anti-deep state hero. Every U.S. president is a criminal. Why is Trump facing charges? Not because he resisted the deep state, he didn't. It's because the ruling class is split. For decades, its internal factions were mostly united. But with U.S. hegemony in severe decline, they're at war with each other. When the U.S. empire was at its peak of unipolar hegemony, bipartisanism was also at its peak. It was easy to unite, but internal contradictions come to a breaking point in times of crisis. By the way, it's good for workers when the ruling class is split and fighting in an internecine war. I like that ending part. Comrade Ben. But I digress. So that's the anti-deep state enjoyer, everybody. I got more. I got way more because I want to make this case as solid as possible. And hopefully I cause as much fucking cognitive dissonance as humanly possible. Because I'm tired of this whole Trump's against the establishment shit. I'm sorry, guys. You're high as fuck if you think Trump's against the establishment. You're high as giraffe pussy. You're higher than giraffe pussy. You're as high as Brachiosaurus pussy. You are higher than I'm going to stop. Let's just go on to the next clip.
So would you guys get your video taken down talking about dinosaur sexual organs? What?
The end of INN. Brought to you by Dinosaur Sex Organs. Okay. This is a base video. So if you're not following Blakely, go give her a follow. She's got some great opinions. She's got some great tapes. She basically breaks down what I just did. Give it a listen. Oop.
Can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear this?
No.
Sorry, guys. Give me 1 sec here. Okay, entire screen. Audio. Here. Okay. Should be good now.
Also, the melted brain take of people being like, oh, it's actually the political elites that are trying to take him out. Why? Why would they need to? He did everything they wanted. Like, can we please unpack this? Why would the elite establishment want to take him out? What did he ever do to upset the apple cart? Nothing. He didn't pardon Julian Assange. In fact, his administration tried to assassinate Assange. He went into office and on day one ripped up the Iran deal because the Israeli regime told him to. He did everything Israel told him to do. Ah, yes, I'm sure Netanyahu was very intimidated by him considering he did everything he wanted him to, including moving the embassy to Jerusalem because his billionaire sugar daddy told him to. His only accomplishment legislatively was tax cuts for that same elite you guys think are after him. And for corporations. He never released the JFK or 9/11 files. He stacked his NLRB with union busters. He hired the Epstein guy to be his labor secretary. Like, you guys talk about the powers that be as if they're threatened by him. Oh no, we can't let Trump win. He might deregulate Wall Street further for the banks. All he does is culture war bullshit. He threatens no power center. If he did, he wouldn't have people like Ackman and Musk and Adelson supporting him. Call me when you've woken the...
So that's pretty much it. This guy isn't a threat to power, guys. I know there's a lot of people, even in independent spaces, saying Trump's some kind of threat to the establishment. Guys, he's really fucking not. He isn't. He never was. You're just falling for one side of the duopoly. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. And I'm sorry. And now we're gonna go to a video from one of my favorite people on earth. That is Caitlin Johnstone. She has a nice video about wishing Trump a speedy recovery.
There's an important lesson in all these Democrats wishing Trump a speedy recovery. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. All the high-profile Democrats who've been wishing Trump a speedy recovery from his assassination attempt after years of calling him an existential threat are the same people who now treat George W. Bush like a cuddly-wuddly snugglepoo after years of calling him an evil dictator. The enmity between these factions is a performance, like cage fighters who hug warmly after weeks of trash talk once their match is over, and admit that all the drama was really just about promoting the fight and selling pay-per-views. Their actions show you that their conflicts are fake, and they are no more enemies than actors on the stage are enemies. So why should you treat their performance as real? Why buy into the drama of their pretend elections and feigned opposition when they themselves do not? They're showing you it's all fake. Believe them. The two sides of mainstream politics are not fighting against one another. They're only fighting against you. Their only job is to keep you clapping along with the two-handed puppet show as they rob you blind and tighten your chains while your gaze is fixed on the performance. Here's a tweet from President Biden. There's no place in America for this kind of violence, or any violence. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation. It's not America, and we can't allow this to happen. Tweet from Vice President Kamala Harris. I have been briefed on the shooting at former President Trump's event in Pennsylvania. Doug and I are relieved that he is not seriously injured. We are praying for him, his family, and all those who have been injured and impacted by this senseless shooting. Tweet from Barack Obama. There is absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy. And though we still don't know exactly what happened, we should all be relieved that former President Trump wasn't seriously hurt. All of Trump's Democratic Party well-wishers prove that for all the whining in recent years about the death of decorum and how vitriolic U.S. partisan feuding has become, they really are all buddies who only pretend to believe the other side is an existential threat to the world. In Washington, they're all on the same team and have generally cordial relationships with people on the other side of the aisle. They just encourage normal Americans to feed all their discontent with the status quo into a hyper-emotional political environment where the barely existing divisions between the two major factions are inflamed by mainstream pundits and politicians, so that their anger will go toward the completely ineffectual activity of voting instead of more direct and revolutionary measures. From the perspective of the empire managers, it's hostile partisan rage for thee, amicable cocktail party relations for we. Every single day in Gaza since October 7th has been more outrageous, significant, and newsworthy than Trump getting a boo-boo on his ear. I've been getting a lot of shrill, hysterical comments from Americans insisting that it's somehow outrageous and inappropriate for me to use this political moment to highlight the criminality of the U.S. empire, as I do every day using every opportunity I can. I would like to make it clear that I have no respect for this. Less than zero respect. The emotional hysteria we are seeing around the assassination attempt on Trump is very similar to what we saw around 9/11 on October 7th. Which historically means some deeply unwholesome policies are about to be rolled out by the managers of the empire. Now is the time to be more critical of the imperial power structure, not less. If you find it horrifying and evil that I am using Trump's ear owie to talk about exponentially more atrocious acts of violence, I can only say, get a fucking grip. Pull yourself together. Your country is backing a literal genocide right this very moment. Stop getting swept up in the media-driven emotional frenzy of the moment. Get a hold of yourself. Stop thinking uncritically and start acting like an adult. The Zionist Federation of Australia is trying to have an Australian journalist prosecuted for unlawful criticism of Israel. Yes, you heard that correctly, and yes, that is the actual story here. The CEO of the Zionist Federation of Australia, Alon Casuto, is trying to bring a Human Rights Commission case against renowned former SBS broadcaster Mary Kostakidis for tweeting criticisms of Israel in ways Casuto claims violate Australian hate speech laws, specifically sharing a speech by Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, wherein he says the words, "From the river to the sea, the land of Palestine is for the Palestinian people and the Palestinian people only." This comes just days after the Australian government appointed its first anti-Semitism envoy, a move many have feared would lead to crackdowns on speech that is critical of Israel. I really cannot overstate how crazy and evil this is. This is probably a good time to once again share my periodic reminder that Australia has no Bill of Rights, and it shows.
All right. So, takeaway from that video is it is a big club and we fucking ain't in it at all.
Nope, we are in dangerous times at the moment. I still have the belief that we're going to end up better on the end, but I don't think it's going to be great for a bit.
I do too. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think eventually the system we are drowning under currently must fall. I think it will. And I'll give you guys a bit of hope, Ian. There was slavery once upon a time. There isn't slavery anymore. There was feudalism once upon a time. There isn't feudalism anymore. Humanity will proceed forward. And I know it seems like it's a little dire because the rich and the powerful pulling out all the stops. But in case you haven't noticed, BRICS is the thing. And the rest of the world's kind of moving on and kind of leaving the West in the dust. So eventually the West is going to be faced with two choices. They can either stay in the dust or they can just get with the times. Getting with the times means that you can't be subservient just to billionaires.
Nope.
Because
we got to start thinking of different solutions, different things to make people's lives easier and more self-sustainable.
Yeah. Because let's face it, in China, if you're a billionaire, if you fuck around, you find out.
Oh, yeah.
They'll fucking kill your ass. And if that's not Marxist as hell, I don't know what is.
No, they'll straight do it.
They'll be like, wait, you're exploiting your workers? All right, well, you're going to die. Sorry. I don't make the rules. Well, I do, but fuck you anyway. All right, so this next clip, shout out to Big Mad Crab again, our host, who is again in the motherland. We miss you. We hope you are enjoying some non-America anything, really, because I think everybody should be entitled to taking a break from the West. But yeah. In order to drain the swamp, one must become the swamp. Silicon Valley's tech titans line up to donate to Donald Trump. Again, guys, he's completely anti-establishment. He's totally fighting for
He's
the
going to
little
rise
guy.
all
Yeah.
the
He's totally fighting for you, MAGA. He's fighting for you so hard. He's going to drain all of the swamp. Except America PAC has raised over $8.7 million from backers, including Palantir's Joe Lonsdale, Anderson Horowitz founders, and Sequoia's Doug Leone. Go look up Palantir. Go Google Palantir. Just do it. Just go down that rabbit hole. That should stop this whole Trump's anti-establishment like bullshit that everybody's been brainwashed with. 100%. I know it won't, but it should. All right. We are moving swiftly along to the next bubble burst for all the people who think this guy is anti-establishment. From Whitney Webb herself, the efforts to rebrand Poppy Warp Speed as a vaccine skeptic rise to a new level. His VP pick invests in gene therapy and biotech companies. You guys are being played so hard. And this is a leaked, quote-unquote, video from Donald Trump calling RFK and commending him for his work on childhood vaccines. Trump states that after vaccinations, babies change right before your eyes. I've seen it so many times. It also sounds like he was offering RFK a job within the administration, stating we're going to win. The Trump RFK ticket would have been unstoppable, but the two unifying and still working together would be a huge win for America. The last part of that is brain dead and stupid. But I digress. Let's listen. Okay, the audio's dog shit. Never mind. I digress. We got one last case I'd like to make here. One last case, and we got a shout out to Nick Cruz from RBN for dropping this shit, because this was fire, but Nick is a consistent fire deliverer, if you will. Jamie Dimon is one of the biggest globalists in the world. Watch all the people who criticize globalists become completely silent as Trump fills his cabinet with these globalist swamp monsters. Which is what me, Misty, Nick, INN, everybody has been trying to tell you for a while. That this guy's in bed with the people he's claiming to fight. Which is why he's not actually going to get killed. Which is why he's never going to threaten power centers. You're getting played, people. You're getting fucking played. Donald Trump is considering Jamie Dimon for Treasury Secretary after a Love Fest CEO meeting. The JP Morgan Chase CEO has said he has thought about serving in one capacity or another. That's just it. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta just say, please look up controlled opposition. This guy isn't your hero. He's not gonna come in and defeat the powers that be because he is the powers that be, and he's enabled by the powers that be. There's nothing but evidence to support this. Don't look at words. Don't look at rhetoric. Look at actions. Look at behavior. Look at what he did the last 4 years. Look at the people he's in bed with. Look at the people he associates with. There is no logical reason to think this guy's anti-establishment. And a lot of people in the independent spaces are falling for this shit. And the reason why they're falling for this shit is because they rightly are so frustrated with Democrats that they're getting pulled back to the other side. They think like Trump's going to be the guy that saves us from the even worse guy. You gotta remember. You gotta remember. The only reason that the worst guy lost, the only reason that this guy lost, Joe Biden, because everybody was so frustrated with how he fucking ran the country. Guys, it's a big club, like Carlin said, and we're not in it. I'm going to keep saying that over and over forever until people get it. Trump is no threat to establishment. He never threatened any fucking power at all. If anything, he just furthered the actions of empire. And even still, even before he's president, which he's probably going to be, he's still furthering empire. He's planning to further empire. So God fucking damn it, people. Jesus Christ. Wake the fuck up. Please, I am begging you to wake the fuck up. Stop thinking these people who are clearly not anti-establishment are somehow against the establishment. Just food for thought.
I gotta work on figuring out why my mic has an echo.
Yeah, it does have a bit of an echo, but I mean, it's not.
I'll figure it out though. There's probably something I'm setting off a bit.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't. I mean, for. I mean, the last politically homeless I did, like I had like crazy background noise, and
Okay.
still seemed okay. I was still able to talk and communicate. It's not ideal, obviously, but you know, it's a work in progress. We're
But I built this system to be good, so I'm gonna make sure I tune it properly.
for sure. I mean, no, it's not a big deal. You gotta, you know, we're all figuring it out here. I saw, and I mean, it happens to everybody. I was watching a stream today from a fairly popular like streamer where like his audio just went out like midstream. And then the chat had to be like audio, and then he had to adjust it. So, you know, it happens. It's whatever.
Yeah. I gotta learn some more about like adjusting audio and stuff like that. So I love
Yeah, of
learning, so
course.
that'll be fun.
Me too.
I'm a nerd.
Oh, me too. I'm such an like I'm one of those people where like I'll get curious about something and then spend like a week just obsessively studying it. Like it'll just become like a new like thing I'm doing.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden I'm
Yeah.
like this kind of weird expert in something that I didn't even know existed like a week before.
I spent weeks just staring at the printer as it was going to figure out how it works.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. I mean, 3D printers are so insane.
This is from my big printer though. I have like a heavy duty printer back here.
Hmm.
That thing's insane.
Oh shit. That's pretty dope, my guy.
It's like it's got AI and all this stuff. You basically hit print and it prints. You don't have to worry about anything. It's amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, the 3D printer thing was that was a shocker. Cause I'm no spring chicken myself, but
Mhm.
the fact that we can now just print anything
Oh yeah.
that I never thought as a kid that would happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm gonna be printing wind turbines probably tomorrow. So
That's so dope. And I mean that's part of it too, people. We gotta work on building dual power. We gotta work on, increasing our sustainability and reducing our reliance on corporations in general, companies in general, because they hold all the power. The thing is, like, there's always that fear, as you saw with the weird MAGA snowflake cancel culture shit. There's always that threat that you say the wrong thing and then you lose your income because of it. And then what do you got? And if we're ever going to do anything like a general strike or a full-blown revolution, which I do think will happen in this lifetime.
Yeah, we're gonna need to have food. We're gonna have to be sustainable.
You're going to need to be able to weather the storm.
It's not going to be a fun time, but it's going to happen, unfortunately. So
it's going to be a necessity. And the only plus I can give you guys, and you can say whatever you want about the trucker convoy, but those mandates went away real fucking quick after those guys disrupted Capitol. They went by in like record speed. So I don't think this is going to be a long game. If we start just like a general strike, just like no profit coming in, these people will melt the fuck down. They'll be begging.
Well, because their whole system is built on the fact that they have to keep getting money. Essentially, our economics are a giant Ponzi scheme, is what I'm saying. So corporations are always so far extended with the money they have that they need to continually have money come in. So if that suddenly stops, all those assets they own all over the world are in dire jeopardy.
Yeah, it's over. There's no shot. They have no fucking shot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's we're gonna be covering that more on the new show we're doing, which is gonna be, like I said, the Maple Files. We're gonna be talking a lot about sustainability and kind of I want to dive in with some like mutual aid stuff and just kind of figuring out like, okay, what would building dual power, what would what would like what would reducing reliance on corporations and the state, both of them, because the corporations own the state, so whatever, we all know that now. What would that look like? What do you need to do? Because we need to make sure we're okay, regardless of whatever fuckery they pull, and that means you got to figure out how can I get food? How can I get power? How can I water? How can I, and there's ways to do it. It's just, it requires some work, but there's ways to do it. And even if you're not 100% like off grid, like completely sustainable, it's going to help. Every little bit helps. Every little bit that reduces the clamp that corporations have on you is important.
And it's little steps. You start growing a plant, and you grow 2 plants. I want to figure out how to get a little more water, but I don't want to have to pay for it. Rain barrels. Just learn little things, then add on to them. Just keep going.
And
don't
eventually,
won't stop.
Yeah, and eventually, before you know it, you're getting pretty much everything you need in this life from yourself. Like, we still got the planet's pretty fucked up, but we still got a planet that provides. It's just we've been tricked into thinking that we can't get anything just from the planet. We have to go through these companies, and we have to, we need a middleman, so to speak. I'm lucky enough to live on a lake, so that's super helpful because I have a source of food. So if shit hits the fan, I can just fish. And frankly, I'm really good at catching fish. So, but, it's little shit like that. Just trying to think of like, how could I guess thinking of like worst case scenario. Always prepare for the worst case scenario. That's what my grandfather always told me. He said, you got to always think, what is the worst thing that can happen? And what he said, actually, in retrospect, was really helpful because he said, always think of what the worst thing can happen and prepare for it, because at the very least, then you won't have anxiety over the worst thing that can happen. So even if the worst thing never happens, the fact that you're prepared for it improves your mental health, because you essentially are like, okay, well, if the worst thing happens, then
I'm prepared.
I have a solution for it, as opposed to like, if the worst thing happens, I'm fucked and there's nothing I can do. So
So any little start will help now. Don't wait. Start your garden today.
Start your garden. Start,
rain barrels.
Something that really helped me was just getting some like solar powered like power generators, for example. Because if the power grid ever shits out, I have power, and I have a renewable source of power that I can replenish with nothing just but the sun. And it actually doesn't take that long to charge. You put it out in the sun for a day, it's fully charged. Like, it's fine. And then you just have power, and you never have to worry about that power thing again. Internet's a bit of a tricky one, but again, you can get like satellite internet, for example. You always have a connection to like internet. But we'll definitely get more into the meat and potatoes of that on our show that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming in the next couple weeks. And yeah, that's pretty much all we've got for tonight. Yeti, do you have any final thoughts about what we've covered tonight?
No, well, I mean, to sum it up is we're screwed. Start growing food and find water. Is all I have to say now.
That's pretty much where I'm at too. We're not going to vote our way out of this mess. You're not voting your way out of this mess in Canada. Absolutely not. Given how, it's weird how we're kind of in lockstep with the states because everybody's predicting Trump to win, and everybody's predicting Polyev to win. So they're going to have like a conservative love fest, I imagine. And just probably meet and just talk about how they can fuck over the poors even more. I don't know what's going to happen.
Probably.
But because of shitty liberal policies, which are largely right wing, the solution to that here in the West is to move further to the right. Because they can't move further to the left because that actually threatens capital. So that's the mess we're stuck in. Regardless, thank you guys, all of you guys, for tuning in. Yeti's going to be back next week. And holy fuck. This election cycle is so insane that I don't even know what we're going to cover by next week, but there's probably going to be some crazy shit. Because at this point, crazy shit is happening every day. And I didn't think this would be interesting. I thought this would just be okay, old guy with dementia versus orange old guy with dementia part 2. This is going to be pretty boring. But this is this is great content.
It's the best TV ever. Primetime TV.
This is at the point where it had to have been, it feels like it was a script that was written. And it could be. I mean, let's be real. This is all politics. You should look at politics the same way you look at pro wrestling. We all know it's fake. We kind of delude ourselves into thinking it's real. But it's largely entertaining.
It's true.
Anyway, regardless, keep questioning everything. As a slight note, guys, I'm going to be out of town the whole weekend. So we're not going to have a Snow Himbo streams on Saturday. I apologize. Depending on when I get back, I might be able to do it Sunday, I think. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check. But I might be able to do that. Regardless, yeah. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. Like I said, keep questioning everything. And I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. And don't ever forget that Israel sucks and Donald Trump's a fucking fraud. Anyway, have a good one, everybody.